Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Gina Lagomarsino, and my faith story begins with my parents, Jerry and Mary Kay, and the faith communities they built, which were so influential to me. My father entered the Catholic seminary in California at age 18. After nearly 12 years, he was close to ordination when he left the Jesuits and ultimately married my mother. Lucky for me. But he remained close to his Jesuit brothers, and throughout my childhood, I was surrounded by wonderful priests and former seminarians who embraced Ignatian spirituality with a strong sense of social justice. My mother was at UC Berkeley during the early 60s. She was involved in the Catholic Newman Center, which was led by Father Joe O'Looney, and he became an influential figure in our family. Father Joe founded Amigos Anonymous, an organization that brought young adults from the US to work in Mexican villages. My mother's experiences with the people of Mexico and her peers on the program were transformational. The American and Mexican friends she made became a network of families who were a big part of my youth. We made several trips with groups of Amigos alumni and their kids who were my peers to villages in Mexico. My experiences with this community in such a different setting from my suburban Sacramento existence opened my eyes to inequities in our world and influenced me to pursue a career in global development. Father Joe was a frequent visitor to our home, where he would say masses in our small living room, which was usually crowded with a few other Amigos families. We offered each other communion, sang together, and instead of a sermon, we discussed the gospel. While Father Joe invited all voices to those Sunday morning conversations, he also shared his very strong views about social justice, and he influenced my thinking about how the world needed to change. These early faith experiences helped me to know God through community, especially community dedicated to living Jesus' gospel message. But in my mid-20s, my faith journey stagnated. After Ken and I got married, we moved east to Boston and then here to DC. For a decade, I struggled to find a community like what I grew up with, and I became increasingly angry at the institutional Catholic Church for being unwilling to welcome all into communion and into leadership. But the Holy Spirit was at work. We became close to the couple who lived next door, two women. One of them had entered the Episcopal Seminary after a nonprofit career. I joked with Beth, "When you get ordained, I'm converting." We attended her moving ordination at the National Cathedral, and shortly thereafter, longtime friends Laura Erder and Brian Hale invited us to St. Columba's. Finding this faith community aligned with my values and with so many wonderful people was a huge positive inflection point. In fact, I was so emotional about finding such a place, which I hadn't even known had existed, that during my Inquirer's class, I burst into tears. I had not realized just how much emotion I had pent up. I'd been missing a faith community, and therefore I'd been missing my connection to God. Over the course of my 15 years here, I have deepened my spirituality through this wonderful community by teaching Sunday school, which helped me rediscover the Bible and learn from the wisdom of children, through Welcome Ministry, where I've been blessed to connect with so many newcomers, by engaging in our collective advocacy and anti-racism efforts, and most recently by humbly answering the call to leadership as one of your wardens. A profound moment in my faith journey was when Ken and I together were received into the Episcopal Church by the bishop a few years ago. I particularly appreciated when Bishop Marianne told me, understanding that I was raised Catholic, that being received into the Episcopal Church does not mean rejecting any part of your identity. It just means that this is your current chosen home on your faith journey. I am so deeply grateful to St. Columba's and to the Episcopal Church for welcoming me and welcoming all of us, whoever we are and wherever we are on our journey of faith. My spiritual journey is far from over, and I can't wait to continue it alongside all of you, this phenomenal community of faith, as we discern together how we are called to live God's love.